Hello guys, welcome back to ESENtaxa. Andrea Papito here, and in this video we are going to see who can still pay zero taxes in 2024. If you are following our channel in ESENtaxa, we have talked about the impatriate regime 2024 that will be restricted, so you will have less deduction and less possibility to access, so more strict requirements. But there are certain categories, certain workers which can be still pay zero taxes or almost zero taxes in 2024. So for them, nothing has changed. I'm talking about the teachers and researchers, and those categories belongs to the other favorable regime called return of brains, in Italian known as rientro dei cervelli. And this kind of law is always in place, even before the impatriate regime existence. And we can see in the law, in this new budget law, that this tax regime hasn't changed at all. And so we can still use for this category this incredible benefit for the entire Italian territory. Okay? Before moving forward, I would like to invite you to subscribe the channel, notification bell, and like button if you like ESENtaxa. And if you're new in this channel, I would like to remind you that ESENtaxa talks about how to optimize taxes in a specific country, how to plan a relocation in the country, how to tax simulate your situation before moving there, and check if the relocation to the country makes sense or not. And we are the #1 channel on Italian tax system in English language. We are also cover other jurisdiction, and we are going to explore more and more jurisdiction and publish video about other tax haven places that most likely you don't even know about it. So let's go back to the topic about this tax regime. We have this tax regime called tax regime for returns of brains. Okay, it's not a nice English translation, but it's the English version of the word rientro dei cervelli. So I try to find the closest translation possible. This has been in place since, I think, 2015, so it's even older than the impatriate regime tax scheme. But the impatriate regime is known worldwide because it's access to everyone. It's accessible by everyone. Here we have quite a lot of restriction, but if you follow our channel and you belong to these categories, you can apply for this regime also in 2024. So the categories are the teachers and researchers. You have to prove to be a teacher in your country of origin, and you should have proof of 2 years of experience, which means 24 consecutive months of experience as a teacher to public institution, private institution, doesn't matter, or researcher. So you work in a lab, work in a university lab, and you can prove this precise activity. Now, if you belong to one of these two categories and you lived abroad and you were not tax resident in Italy 2 years before the relocation, you can have a deduction of still 90% of your income. So 90% of your income will be tax-free, excluded from taxation, in all Italy. There is no differences between south of Italy and north of Italy. No, it's always been like this. It's always 90% regardless the territory. Now, this tax regime lasts for 6 years, and it can be extended to 8 years if you purchase a property. And if you have 3 children, you can reach 11 years plus 3 children. Okay? So it's very similar to the extension of the impatriate regime, if you remember, but you can have up to 11 years of 90% deduction of your income if you purchase a property, or if you have 3 children with you, or you had 3 children during your 6 years in Italy. Okay, so these are the two possibilities to extend this regime. So 90% deduction, what does it mean? It means that if you consider the Italian tax bracket, that now in 2024 are only 23% from 0 to 28,000, then it's like 35% from 28,000 towards 15,000, and 43% from 15,000 plus infinity, whatever income. So these are the tax brackets. So if you have, for example, an income of, as a researcher or as a teacher, of 280,000 euro, only 10% of this income will be taxable, which means that only 28,000 euro will be taxed at 23%. okay? And the rest will be tax-free. So as you can see, it's a huge tax discount. If you have an income, for example, of 100,000 euro, only 10,000 euro, it's taxable, and you still are in this tax bracket, so in the lowest tax bracket. Keep in mind that in Italy you have the detrazioni list. Still another argument, a topic that you should know if you follow our channel. You know that when you calculate taxes here, because this is your imposable income after the 90% deduction, if you calculate your taxes, here it's 2,300 euro to pay, it's not what you really have to pay to the Italian state, but you still have detraction list to subtract to this number, and you might have the chance to reach zero. If you are an employee, by default, in 2024, you will be entitled to have almost 2,000 euro of deduction, and if you subtract, what you have to pay is only 300 euro. You see? So, there are also the list of detraction that can improve improve in the sense that you can reduce your tax to pay towards the Italian state. Okay? So this is how it works for researchers and teachers. And these are the two categories untouched for the fiscal reform, Italian fiscal reform of 2024. There is another restriction for this regime. It can only be an Italian citizen, Italian citizen, or European Union citizen. Unfortunately, if you are from another country outside Europe, it's not possible for you to apply for this regime. So that's the thing about the impatriate regime 2024 and the fact that they have decreased the deduction from 90% to 50% and from 70% to 90% to 50% if you move in the north of Italy. So about this point, since the Italian government, they changed this thing at the end of the year, a lot of people already made a plan to move to Italy. A lot of people are writing us, mailing us, and mourning about the fact that they just, out of nowhere, they changed the idea. And a lot of companies in Italy hire people from abroad, promising higher net in a salary, in a payroll, thanks to this regime. Now they cannot do this anymore. So a lot of people now are changing their ideas and they are choosing another country. So they're not choosing Italy anymore for at least 5 years, because the law also extended the mandatory period that you should stay in Italy. So, and because of this huge amount of people changing plan, we might have the chance that through the passage, through the parliament step, we might have some benefit back from an impatriate regime in 2024. This is an insight that I want to tell you right now, and let's see what happened in the end of the month. We're going to talk again about the impatriate regime 2024 at the end of November, around December. So be tuned on ESENtaxa, and we are going to tell you if the parliament approved or improved this change for the impatriate regime 2024. Maybe reducing the number of years that you have to stay in Italy, or simply putting back the original big deduction. And that's it for today, guys. Thank you for watching ESENtaxa. Again, I remind you to subscribe to the channel, notification bell, and like button to be always updated for free with this nice information. Thank you.